He stinks.
Oh, shit.
It's gone.
Welcome in, everyone. It's Monday night, and we are the Sports Hounds. I'm Rob Brakeman. He's Brad Ryer. Frank Vesby behind the scenes, keeping the train on the tracks, doing a great job as he always does. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on. Don't miss anything on A2D Radio. If you do miss us, download us, podcast form, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Takeover Talk. We're absolutely everywhere. A2D Radio and the Sports Hounds brought to you by FanUp. It's the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. Sign up now at FanUp, only in the Apple App Store, and win your share of great prizes, daily NFL contests, and more. Been playing for a couple weeks now. I've been playing all season, actually, mostly the primetime games. Just started doing the Sunday lineups. It's great. You don't have to be haggled by the salary cap. You just pick who's going to do good. If you want to throw a wrinkle in there and off the radar guy, that's fine, but you can load studs, play your friends. It's the future. It's revolutionizing daily fantasy sports. That's FanUp. We're also brought to you by our doc. Make them yours too. Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal, Burlington, Cherry Hill. Like I said, he's our doc. Make them yours too. Specialized Physical Therapy, Body Check Wellness, a line of products to promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for 25% off your order. BodyCheckWellness.com. Clarity, feeling fresh. It's that CBD stuff. It works. 25% off. You get it. Why not get it? 25% off. You don't like it? Fine. You only paid 75% of the price anyway. You're stealing. You are stealing from ATD Radio. You are stealing from Body Check Wellness. You're stealing from FanUp because you get a bonus of 10,000 FanUp points, which is equivalent to, I don't even know. They give you so much stuff, I don't even know. My head's spinning. But I'm playing the whole year for free just because I signed up because A2D Radio told me to. Do it. Download FanUp. Specialized Physical Therapy. Body Check Wellness. Brad Ryer, we got a big show tonight. I know we got football, week 4 in the NFL. We're going to get all that. But we got huge baseball stuff. Playoffs start this week. We got an AL wildcard game. We got an NL wildcard game. Single eliminations. And then the real dance gets underway later this week. And, Brad, I can make the case for all 10 of the teams involved in this postseason to win the World Series. That includes the wild card teams. That includes the Braves, who won the stinky NL East. That includes the Cardinals, who are just on fire right now. You can make a case for any team. And I know your Yankees are getting ready to go up the Fenway. 1-game playoff with the hated Boston Red Sox. We're going to preview that in a few minutes. But, I mean, Brad, Yankee Nation, 1-game playoff. You guys feeling all right about it? What's the sentiment?
I think we're feeling very good about it because you know what? We for a while it didn't look like we were going to make the playoffs this year. So we had some really bad injuries. I think they kept us down, especially losing Johnny Loizaga. That I think was the key injury that really put the Yankees in a tailspin at the beginning of September. Then coming back with Luis Severino coming back and being in the bullpen and being a lockdown 8th-inning pitcher. Once he came in and replaced him, it just seemed like everything settled down. The bullpen settled down. The starting pitching got better. And, the hitting has been up and down all season. When they hit, they win because their pitching's been very good for the most part. They're going to have to hit in this game against the Red Sox on Tuesday. No question.
Yeah, I think it's just both teams.
I think we all feel really good about the fact that they were able to sneak in. I mean, that's basically it. I don't know that they get if they beat the Red Sox, I don't know that they get past Tampa. I think Tampa's better than them. But you know what? As long as they beat the Red Sox, I mean, I'm happy. I can't be like a lot of other Yankee fans to sit there and say the season is a shattering season because they didn't beat the Rays. I think the Rays are just the best team in the league this year. I mean, unless unless something changes. I mean, they won 100 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's a stupid, snobby New York Yankee mentality if I've ever heard one right there. But we're going to get into a full MLB playoff preview, both wildcard games, predictions, who's going to win it. We got a big Monday Night Football game. Big one in the AFC West. Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, arguably two of the best quarterbacks to start this young season. Both teams are undefeated. Chiefs get a win yesterday. Broncos lose. So this is a big game in the pantheon of the AFC West here. And we'll talk about that. We'll give you predictions, and we'll talk about Week 4 in the NFL later on the show. But first, we're leading off with a team that is just a walking joke, an embarrassment, a top 5 market that hasn't even sniffed the playoffs since 2011. The Phillies get swept in Atlanta, second to last series of the season. Atlanta clinches. The series in Miami doesn't mean anything. It's a total joke. The roster outside of Bryce Harper is a total mess. Brings us to our poll question, brought to you by Sunrise Detox. Many of us struggle with addiction and mental health issues. The Counseling Center at Sunrise Detox has your back. 856-651-8117. Tell them Tom Arnone sent you. Tell them the Sports Sound sent you. Tell them A2D Radio sent you. There's no shame in asking for help. But, Brad, the poll question tonight, this is a manager. He's the captain of the ship. He's the manager of the baseball team. And Philly fans like myself went into this season, Brad, thinking that this team could win 90 games and grab either an East championship or a wild card. I don't think that was, out of bounds to start the season. Now, obviously, you unravel the season over 162 games, and it's just, it's just a new year, same story, no bullpen, not enough innings in your starting rotation, and just way too many strikeouts, bad defense, bad base running, just bad baseball. So our poll question tonight, for you, for me, for all the A2D family out there, we'll get to your comments throughout the show. Should Joe Girardi return as the Phillies matter? Now, I will preface it saying Dave Dombrowski has already announced publicly that Joe Girardi will be back next year with the Philadelphia Phillies. So, but Brad, should he be back?
You know what? And listen, I'm not the biggest Girardi fan in the world. We know that. If you remember how I used to kill him when he was managing the Yankees. But the Phillies are a flawed team. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, their bullpen just didn't really get any better. And when Joe was managing the Yankees, that was the one thing he didn't have to worry about, was the Yankees bullpen. The Yankees always had a good bullpen. They still do have a good bullpen. I mean, Joe can't come in and bring these guys in and make them get outs. Their bullpen just isn't good enough. That's the one thing Dave Dombrowski has got to straighten out, this bullpen in the offseason. I think that should be even above and beyond trying to get some more hitters on the team. I think that and shortstop should be the top priority for this team.
Look, Dave Dombrowski, he's been a winner everywhere he's been.
But he's had farm systems to be able to use.
That's my point. He's got a lot of work to do to become a winner here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, the problem with the Phillies is their farm system is so bad right now that it's not like they have people that they can go out and trade to get people who are going to fix the problems. That seems to be more of the issue than anything else. I mean, Dombrowski can definitely judge talent. I mean, there's no question about it. He really can. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I think the Phillies need to make a few tweaks, especially in the bullpen. But I think the bullpen has to be their top priority.
You think this is a tweak situation here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think you have to just go out and fix your bullpen. I mean, I don't think the team is that bad. Yeah, they're kind of similar to the Yankees. I mean, they don't have the star power offensively that the Yankees have, other than Bryce Harper. But if you look at their lineup, they should be able to hit a little bit more. They should be able to. Now, there are some guys that are old that need to go. Okay, Didi, Mccutchen. These are guys that are old. They need to go. But if you get the right guys, and you don't have to spend a fortune of money, but you can if you want to, because you're still under the cap. And McCutchen was making, 17 mil? Didi was making 18 mil?
Well, Didi's on the hook.
For
We're
one
on the
more
hook
year.
next year.
Yeah, but you might be able to get rid of him and absorb some of the salary too.
I'm all but the sign me up. Where do I sign? Sign me up. Didi out of town.
Listen,
Love it.
That could happen. That's not impossible. Didi, I think, is tradable. Okay, McCutchen is not. McCutchen,
Brad, he was so bad. I don't even know. Like, who would take him? I don't know. He didn't play good defense. He had an on-base percentage of below 280. Below 280 on base.
But he was playing. He
only had 12 home runs.
Yeah, but he was playing hurt most of the second half of the season too. So
I mean, that's what old people do. They get hurt.
Well, I realize that. But he's not that old. He's only 32. It's not like he's 35 or 36. He still should be able to go out there and play shortstop every day. I mean, unfortunately, he couldn't do it. He was hurt. But I think those are the two things the Phillies have to do. They've got to address the bullpen. I think the starting pitching is okay. Unless there's somebody they can get that's not going to cost them an arm and a leg in free agency, maybe make a good trade and get themselves a number 3 or a number 4 pitcher, or maybe a number 2. They certainly have an ace. That there's no question about that. I mean, Wheeler was very close to Cy Young material this year, But again, Joe didn't trust the bullpen, and he had to leave him out there to pitch too many innings. And that was really the problem. I don't blame Joe Girardi for what happened with the Phillies this year. I just don't. I don't think that he made mind-bogglingly bad decisions that cost the team games. He's not Aaron Boone, okay? Aaron Boone is an idiot. Aaron Boone makes mind-bogglingly stupid moves, which costs his team games, okay? Friday night, he basically took the wild card home game and just handed it to the Red Sox by bringing a rookie, Albert Abreu, who couldn't find the strike zone with a telescope. He puts him in a game in a jam, okay? He brings Domingo Germán in the 8th inning. He lucked out there, but then he has to go and he has to put Domingo Germán in the 9th in a tie game. I'm sorry, 9th inning, tie game. I'm sorry, 9th inning, a 2-1 game, a game that you have to win, and you don't bring in Chapman? You warm him up for the 10th inning when the Yankees are threatening. You warm him up for that, but you don't bring him in the 9th inning to make sure you shut Tampa Bay down. And sure enough, Tampa Bay's reliever, he gets hammered in the bottom of the 9th, but the Yankees could only get it up to 4-3 and then ends up losing. So, I mean, you don't have a manager that's stupid like Aaron Boone, okay? He just doesn't have the horses out in that bullpen. I mean, how many games did they lose this year because of the bullpen? How many saves did they blow?
Actually, a lot. But
I think somebody said 34. If I don't remember. If
but they won. The strange thing is, I think they won 17 of them somehow.
Because they can hit, and that tells you, these guys. It tells you that these guys go out there and they play hard for their manager. So I don't think he deserves to be fired. If you guys go out and you get some really good relief pitchers, and he starts bringing in the wrong guys in the wrong situation all the time, he needs to go. There's no question. Do you think Joe is not tough enough with the Phillies? Because I think he holds guys accountable. He's not a softy. He'll give somebody a spanking. He won't play somebody if he thinks they're not doing the right thing, not hustling. Aaron Boone doesn't pull Gleyber Torres out of the game when he's literally walking to first base on a ground ball to shortstop. I mean, and there's no conversation or anything. Aaron Boone is horrible. And I'm just amazed at all the idiot Yankee fans who are Pollyannas and think that, it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to hold anybody accountable. Bullshit.
I mean, I agree. Though. I'm bringing Joe Girardi back. Yeah, I think of all the problems that this Phillies organization has, Joe Girardi.
He's not one of them.
I agree with you. I mean, puzzling moves sometimes, but all the things you said for years of us being together with Joe Girardi, kind of came to fruition this year. And I understand why a stubborn guy like Hal Steinbrenner got rid of him and got fed up with it, because he didn't trust his bullpen this year. Instead of trying to patch it together, he would just leave Wheeler out there, and if it didn't work out, just throw his arms up, which he did. I can't really blame him for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What is it you want him to do?
I can't blame him that he's saddled with a shortstop that's too old, that can't field, can't get on base, and can't hit left-handed pitching.
Exactly. That's not his fault.
You know, I can't blame him that Andrew Mccutchen. Look, I told you. I don't know if you even recall. I hated the Andrew Mccutchen signing, even when it happened. I wanted to sign Michael Brandt. I wanted to sign Michael Brantley in Houston, and how much better would that have been if they signed Michael Brantley, like I wanted to, like GM Rob wanted to. Instead, we got Andrew Mccutchen, who's just, I mean, yeah, he's got some pop. I think he had 25 or so homers this year, and that's all well and good. But, I mean, he can't play left field. He can't play left field. He's a butcher out there. He's no center fielder. You cannot contend, Brad, in the National League without a center fielder. You can't contend in the National League with a starting third baseman of Ronald Torres. It doesn't work. You don't have a DH to pick up the slack, at least yet. Hopefully we have a DH next year so we get a little younger, more athletic at first base and move Reese to DH where he's better suited. But you can't have Ronald Torres at third base in a pennant race. You can't.
You can also put JP at DH as well when you need to rest him. You don't have to completely take him out of the game.
Well, I'd be 100% in favor of a full-scale position change for JT Realmuto because I don't like the way his body's been breaking down behind the plate for 140, 135 games each year over the last 2 years.
If you end up with a DH, you could always put Reese at DH and let him play first base.
Again, that's something I'm totally in favor of. Look, you can get into it, but I mean, center field Odubel Herrera. He's probably going to be on the team next year because they're contractually juiced into him for another year at like not much money, so like it's manageable, and he can be, but he can't play left field. He can't play center field. He can't bat leadoff for you. Like, are you out of your mind?
Well, the obvious acquisition that they need to make would be Marte. I mean that.
I want Corey Seager.
Well, no, I mean as far as center field, if the Phillies were to back up the train, go to the bank and bring.
Well, I would rather sign a 28-year-old Corey Seager in the prime of his career than a 33-year-old Starling Marte, who's
you can
still. That's fine too.
That's what I'm saying. Those are two guys. I mean, Rob, think of your lineup with Seager batting in the middle of the lineup and Starling Marte leading off. The guy led the majors in stolen bases. He's a 320 hitter. I mean, what possibly could go? You sign him for like a 3-year to a 2 to 3 year deal.
My point being is I understand that this bullpen stinks and they can't get anybody out. And they blew 34 saves this year. I get it. You're probably realistically, you're 2 starters away from being a contender. I'll take one in the offseason, but I need wholesale changes to this everyday lineup. Look at 2008, the only successful reign of baseball that this team has really had. A few good teams in the early 70s and the 80s, but as far as sustained dominant success with a core of guys,
you had a terrific lineup that year. That's what won for you.
Talking about 08.
Yeah. A terrific
Howard, Utley, Rollins, 3 perennial MVP candidates in your infield. You can get a glove at third base in Phillies. You have a defensive guy.
He wasn't that bad offensively either.
And then you have Jason Worth, who you get a Rule 5 guy.
He could hit the hell out of the ball. He was a good player. Shane Victorino was a good player.
Behind. Victorino was a Rule 5 guy. I don't remember where Jason Worth came. Maybe he was a Rule 5 guy too, but Victorino was definitely a Rule 5 guy. You get him in your system. You develop him. He's a perennial Gold Glove center fielder. And then you have Jason Worth, who just sits behind Ryan Howard for 3 years, gets nothing but fastballs, does nothing but hit him out of the park, and turns himself into a $150 million player for the Washington Nationals.
Exactly.
You can cover up a lot of deficiencies if you can hit the baseball consistently. Bryce Harper was a madman. If the Phillies finishing, I don't know what they finally finished at behind the Braves, probably 4 or 5 games because they lost 2 out of 3 in Miami. But for this trash team You look at the lineup every night here in Philadelphia. They flash it up, Comcast Sportsnet, Tom McCarthy and Ben Davis. They break it down. Leading off, Odubel Herrera. And it's just like, here we go again. Here we go again. So you have right now on the team right now, you have Real Muto, who can hit, but I really want him to move to first base because I don't want my 5-year, $125 million investment to just be useless the last two years of his deal because catching is just wearing him down. So he can bash. Gene Segura is a good player. He's a professional hitter. He hits right around 300.
Why is he leading off? Because he doesn't get on base enough? Is that the issue?
Because like you gotta.
He doesn't walk. I don't know. I'm asking you. You watch the Phillies more than I do.
I mean, I would lead him off, but I see why Joe doesn't lead him off. Joe wants more. Joe wants his, he needs Gene in that 2-hole to keep the line moving.
Gotcha.
For Bryce. And then, like, leadoff is just kind of like if Odubel decides he's going to be on one of his 6-week tears where he's being awesome or he's being a bonehead. That's what the top of your lineup is based on. Is how Odubel Herrera, the biggest knucklehead maybe in Philadelphia sports history, feels on that particular day. So, like, you need a center fielder, you need a left fielder, you need a third baseman, and you need a shortstop. Because you got Harper and right. That's fine. And you have Segura at second, and you have Real Muto. Rhys Hoskins was hitting the baseball well this season before he got injured and had to miss the last couple of weeks of the season.
I would think that they would try to get Boone to play third. I would think
Alec Boehm stinks, Brad. He stinks.
You don't want to give him a chance?
Nope. I'm done. I mean, look, the guy's already 23, 22 years old. You picked a college. Yeah, but Brad, this is why you pick a college bat in the draft or a college arm in the draft. You get him to the majors quickly. He's just overmatched. So I don't know. And he is not a Dombrowski draft pick.
No, he probably won't.
I don't think he was. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. Dombrowski is not. See, look, can I trade Alec Boehm to the Minnesota Twins and get me Byron Buxton?
There's no way that's going to happen.
But that's my framework.
Yeah. Byron Buxton, I believe, is he a free agent?
I have the list right here. I didn't see Byron Buxton.
I think next season he's a free agent.
Right. So you get him this offseason.
The only problem with Byron Buxton is he's always getting hurt.
I need to look at guys. I can realistically obtain.
No. I understand. I'm just saying he the problem with I like Byron Buxton. I wish he was on the Yankees, to be honest with you. But I mean, I like him too. But he's always hurt, and that's a problem. That's
fine. But I mean, I got a center fielder with speed and pop, and he's a Gold Glove defender. Is what I'm.
Yeah, and you don't
have better defensive center fielders in the whole league.
Oh, no, he is the best defensive center fielder in the whole league, at least in the American League. I don't know if he's the best in the National League, but I can tell you in the American League, he's the best center fielder.
And I'll tell you one thing, Odubel Herrera, like you can't have defense like Odubel Herrera in center field every night in the National League. You can't. I understand the pitcher, but my number one priority this offseason, I need to get this everyday lineup on track. Scoring runs, consistency, no weak links. Well, I'm backing up the truck, and
you got to go with either a glove at short or third.
No, I want Seager at short. That's my number one. If I can only have one guy in the whole offseason to bring on the Phillies and we make no other moves, it'd be Corey Seager.
Suppose they can't get him because I know another team that's going to want him too. Besides him. I know several teams that are going to want
the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, all these. Well, the Red Sox have Bogarts.
The Red Sox are not going to.
They have Bogarts. I forgot about that. Yeah. So forget about them.
Bogarts is better than him anyway. So.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
I mean, yeah, but as far as the Phillies need a shortstop. The Yankees need a shortstop. The Dodgers could definitely use to bring.
Well, you know what? You're going to have to step up. because you're not in the best situation. You're gonna have to show up, bust out that stupid money, let Dombrowski do his thing, and go get Corey Seager. Trevor Story is also a free agent. There's no way he's going back to Colorado.
What about Trey Turner?
I mean, you got to think the Dodgers are going to re-sign him. I mean, they gave up top prospects for him and Scherzer. I mean, I don't think you do that to lose both Scherzer and Turner in the offseason.
So are you going to tell me that they're going to sign Scherzer and they're going to sign Turner? And they're going to sign Seager? They can't sign.
No, I don't think they're going to. I think Trey Turner will be the Dodgers shortstop next season.
And what about? I mean, they're not.
Look, Scherzer's good. He's going to be able to do what he wants. If he wants to go to the Angels, it seems like he's a West Coast guy.
Yeah, from what I've gathered, I've heard the Angels, and boy, the Angels can really use him. That's somebody they desperately need to get.
I mean, I think
he'd fit right in there.
Up in Seattle, I think he's going to be aggressive in the offseason. He's shown he'll go out and sign guys. He's shown it before.
I don't think Scherzer's going to want to go to Seattle.
Maybe not, but I think that they're going to be a factor. I think they're going to be a factor in free agency.
Yeah, I think he's a Hollywood kind of guy. I think he's going to go to the Angels. That's just my opinion. But there's a lot. Listen,
but that's whatever. That's fine. But the Dodgers are so far. Their payroll's out of control. They can't just keep signing everybody.
Well,
or maybe they can. Maybe they just don't care. I wish the Phillies had that mentality and they didn't care.
No,
but I mean,
nobody, even the Yankees, when George Steinbrenner was alive, spent as much money as what the Dodgers have been spending the last couple of years. I mean, what they've got this year is absolutely insane. And if they keep all these guys, they're going to have like a $350 million payroll. There's no way they can sign all those guys.
Right, which is why I think Seager is going to be kind of collateral damage. I think they're going to try and keep Scherzer. I think they're going to keep Turner. I don't think you make a trade like that for the caliber of prospects.
They can. You're right, though. They could sign Turner, and then they could put Muncy at second base, right?
They'll figure it out. It's the Dodgers. They have Gavin Lux. Yeah. Gavin Lux is one of the highly regarded second base prospects. They just throw him in left field because they don't have any. They have so many good guys.
No, I know they do.
It's crazy. So, they're not pigeonholed into spending a $350 million because the Dodgers probably the best with the international signing pool. They always have a Latin American star coming up. They always have someone in their farm system that's ready to just come to the majors and hit the ground running.
Well, here's another guy for you, Rob. What about Carlos Correa? I mean, he's a free agent. He's fit in pretty well in your team. He's a cheater, but he's really good.
Is he a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter?
Right-handed.
See, I want the lefty, which Seager's a lefty.
Well, yeah, no, I understand. I understand that he's not lefty. He's a righty. But I mean, there's more than just those two guys that are going to be free agents at shortstop. I think there's a couple other. Story, and he's right-handed. Story did not have a very good season though.
Yeah, I want the lefty. I want the middle of my order to be Harper, Real Muto, and then Seager in the 5-hole.
That would be and then
go right, left, right. Because then Segura, he's a righty. He can hit second.
And then you have Hoskins to bat sixth. Ooh.
And he's a righty.
Ooh,
and that's a perfect spot for Reese. Reese can just sit back in the 6-hole and just pound on fastballs.
Right, and he wouldn't, and there wouldn't be any pressure on him batting sixth either.
Don 19 checking in from Detroit. He hopes the Tigers get Correa. I think the Tigers could be
I think this offseason. Yeah, the Tigers are definitely ready to start spending some money now. They've definitely proved their point. They put together a very good young pitching staff. Very unfortunate with Matthew Boyd. I don't know what's going on with him, but he may need Tommy John surgery from what I understand.
Well, that stinks because he was promising. But, and I look at these free agent pitchers because, Scherzer's not coming to Philadelphia. Maybe he will come to Philadelphia. I don't know. Him and Harper are boys. And Harper and Chris Bryant are boys.
One free agent pitcher where I can guess is going to go, where I can guess they're going to go, and I think I have a pretty good chance of being right, Justin Verlander is going to, and you heard it here first, Justin Verlander is going to finish his career a Detroit Tiger. I think
that would be nice.
Lock, stock, barrel.
Justin Verlander, that's my point. I'm looking at these free agent pitchers and Max Scherzer, he's a West Coast guy. Plus, he's 38 years old.
Justin Verlander's coming off Tommy John, but I think for a young Detroit
he's
Tiger,
not coming to Philly.
He's not coming to New York either. He's over that. Yeah, he's going to go to Detroit, and he's going to mentor all those good young pitchers and be a leader.
And then
see that.
Then you have guys like Marcus Stroman. That'd be a cute signing.
I like him.
But does that, if I don't do anything, if I run it back, like everyone, so to speak, I would just run it back with the team and just put Marcus Stroman in my starting rotation. Does that make me a 90-win team? I don't think so. This everyday lineup is so inept and it's so boring to watch. It's brutal night in and night out.
If you make him the number 2 pitcher and then you put Nola down to number 3, I mean, does that make sense?
I don't know.
Nola's not even a number 2 anymore.
Aaron Nola's so disappointing this year that you're boxed into keeping him because you're not going to get anything for him.
No, I realize that. But
he's making a manageable, I think, $12.5 million next year.
But you put Stroman in you get Stroman as the number 2, and then you could put him in number 3, and maybe he's facing the other team's number 3 or 4 pitchers for the most part. Maybe with that, and the Phillies probably will score more runs for him. Maybe he'll relax and pitch better.
But yeah, I need because then that sets up my farm system. Because if I sign a bunch of batters like I want to do with the Phillies, if I'm a GM Rob, put my GM hat on for the Phillies, giving them the blueprint on how to just fix their team into being at least respectable in a top 5 market. It's why you sign all these. What are you more likely to miss on, Brad? A big, high-priced free agent pitcher or a high-priced free agent bat? What has more bust percentage? It's the pitcher, right?
Yeah, the pitcher.
He can get hurt. He could stink. Anything could happen. He could not like it.
Especially
he could get dead arm.
Especially relief pitchers. Relief pitchers are the ultimate guys that are that are up and down.
They're like kickers in football. Relief pitchers. I have no idea. Hector Neris could come out next year, and he's a guy I would bring back to the team because I think he did okay in a setup role. He's okay. One of the best relievers in the National League this year. You never know.
That could happen. I don't think
it's unlikely, but I'm just speaking to the volatility of the position. And then, would you rather give a guy like Marcus Stroman like $20 million a year on the free agent market, $15 million a year, or would you rather give Corey Seager $20 to $25 million a year? It's a no-brainer. It's Corey Seager.
I'd rather have the shortstop.
So you revamp this everyday lineup, which desperately needs to be revamped. It's brutal. It's strikeout city. It's bad at bat city. It's just brutal. Besides Bryce Harper, I mean, if you have 35 home runs and only 80 RBIs, that speaks not to Bryce Harper lack of RBIs. It speaks to the team around him not doing their job and at least attempting to get on base in the early parts of the season. Like it's a joke. It's a joke. So I'm sign Seager, sign Marte, trade for Buxton. How about get both the Seagers in here? Kyle and Corey. Have the Seagers as the left side of your infielder.
Kyle's a little old though.
Whatever. Brad, I can't watch. And I like Ronald Torres. He's far from the Phillies' problem. He plays a bunch of different positions. He goes in there. He tries his best. The guys seem to like him. He's a high-energy guy.
But he's not an everyday player.
No, I want him on my bench.
Yeah.
Like Brad Miller's my best option when Rhys Hoskins goes down. What? Okay. Are we good? Brad Miller? Really?
No.
That's all you could scrounge up as a utility guy on your bench in a top 5 market? Brad Miller, Ronald Torres? Look at the teams. Look at the benches of the teams in the playoffs, Brad.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. You want to know what the top two relievers that are available right now, as far as free agency, or Iglesias, the one that used to pitch for Cincinnati.
Yeah, he was on the Angels this year. He had an okay year.
He
He's
had an okay
older
year.
though. He's got a lot of miles on that arm.
Yeah, he's 30.
I'm supposed to pay him big money.
I'm just telling you who's available. I don't know.
I understand. This is why I'm saying, because I don't like the pitchers. And then every resource in the international pool and the draft, you get pitchers, you get arms, you get a stable of arms.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Melanson, he's 37. There's really not a one arm. I'm looking at the list right now, and there's really not. I mean, Daniel Hudson, I guess he'd be okay as a guy.
That could be something I would look at. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good pitcher, I think.
Yeah, I see him as he's in the list. But there's really not a lot out there. I mean,
and really the only starting pitcher that the Phillies would have a realistic option is Stroman, unless I'm missing somebody. Verlander not coming here. Scherzer's not coming here.
Okay, some of the top pitchers. Okay, what about Kevin Gausman?
I mean, he had a tremendous season for the San Francisco Giants. The season's not even over yet. It could get even better.
Okay, what about Carlos Rodon?
But am I supposed to?
No, I'm just
Carlos Rodon would be very intriguing. I think he's got a lot of talent. He's been derailed by some injuries. I think the White Sox would be foolish to let him walk. But if they did, because I believe he's a lefty as well, which is something that the Phillies desperately need as well. He's a high strikeout guy. He's got great pedigree. He was a top 5 pick in the draft. Out of NC State, I believe. I would be shocked if the White Sox let him out of their organization, but that would be a good signing. That would get me excited.
Okay.
Kevin Gausman, not so much. I don't know. Based on the season he had, someone's going to overpay Kevin Gausman.
Yeah,
That feels like a Seattle Mariner move to me. Yeah, Kevin Gausman to the Mariners.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him for New York. I think he would go. I think he would be a disaster in New York myself.
He had a career year because he was set to get paid. A lot of those Giants pitchers did. A lot of those Giants in general did. That's what happened.
Well, not only that, but the other thing with Kevin Gausman is that, he's pitching in a big ballpark. That's a huge ballpark.
Yeah, and it's cold at night. It doesn't travel. Like, right. You know what I'm saying?
And the outfield, and they had a really good outfield, good defensively at least. But I'm just telling you who's out there. Obviously, Kershaw is going to resign. They're not going to let him go. Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere.
He's not even pitching in the playoffs.
No, Trevor Bauer, I wouldn't go anywhere near him. Zach Greinke, he's 38 years old. Do you think he has enough in the tank to be effective, or is he like another?
No.
Yeah, I think he'd be another Jake Arrieta if you brought him.
I need Band-Aid starting pitchers, guys I can get cheap, maybe in contract years. I need to just
here's a couple
focus all of my farm system, rebuilding my farm system around a stable of arms that I can bring in.
Here are 2 of them for you, Rob. I got 2 of them for you. One is John Gray from the Rockies.
Not a bad name.
Okay.
I think you get him out of Coors Field. I think he could be. He's a 200 strikeout guy.
I know he's
got 200 strikeout a year stuff, John Gray. That would be a great under the radar signing for the Phillies. For anybody, really.
Here's another one. Didn't have a very good year, although when he pitched against the Yankees, he looked like God's gift to baseball, and that's Eduardo Rodriguez. You're thinking about that.
I mean, I would.
He's left.
Think about it. It doesn't excite me nearly as much as John Gray.
I like John Gray.
That would be a good signing.
I have to admit,
Carlos Rodon would be a great signing because I have Nola, I have Wheeler, and yes, I hate Nola, but he's going to be on the team next year because it doesn't make any sense to trade him when his value's at his lowest when he's only making around $12 million next year. It's a good value on a starting pitcher that could potentially give you 200 innings. And then I have Ranger Suarez, who was great.
Can he repeat that, though? That's the only question.
That's a good question, but, I mean, he earned the chance to try.
Oh, he definitely did.
And then Gibson's a free agent. I'm already putting him in the bank. Re-sign Kyle Gibson. I thought he was okay. He can be your 4th guy. So
Okay.
you bring in John Gray to be your fifth starter.
Oh, I can think of a lot worse guys to be your fifth starter than John Gray.
You know, you bring in Carlos Rodon to be your fifth starter.
Carlos Rodon would be your number 2, maybe even 1A.
But you're filling out. I'm just filling out the rotation.
No, I understand. I mean, there's some guys on this list who I think would be pretty useful.
Once they get on the team, then we'll figure out where they should go in the pecking order. But
right.
I'm just saying, you bring in the last addition to your starting rotation, wherever he pitches in the rotation, is a guy like John Gray or Eduardo Rodriguez. I can't imagine that the White Sox are gonna let Rodon go.
He's had a lot of injuries though.
Yeah, but you can play games with that and get him on the cheap.
Years. Yeah, but don't forget, they've got a lot of young talent they're going to have to sign though, Rob.
It's true.
I mean, you can't keep everybody. Even the Yankees can't pay everybody. I mean, they're
maybe he will. Maybe he's just odd man out there.
I mean, listen, he gets hurt a lot. And
Jimenez is a stud. Robert's a stud.
Yeah, and you're going to pay, and you're going to be paying a lot of money for those guys. And
I don't know what Tim Anderson. He's terrific
player. He's a great
whatever he's making. It's not enough. That guy rocks.
Oh yeah, and I mean he does. He basically does it all. I mean that's a team that can hit, and they've got hitting up and down their lineup.
Yeah, you have Giolito.
Giolito again. You have to pay Giolito. You're gonna have
Dylan Cease really he stepped up big time.
He's
a good player.
All these young players, and the White Sox have a ton of them. But all these guys are going to end up having to get paid. Would it be smart to be paying a guy like Rodon, if you're Chicago, all that money when you've got all these other guys you have to sign first?
And you have to be careful with how much money you give Rodon because he's been hurt.
Yeah, he does have an injury history. But boy, when he's out of that mound, I mean, he is unbelievable. I've always liked him.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, I've always liked him too. All right, so we're in unison here on the Sports Hounds. Joe Girardi back 2022 with the Philadelphia Phillies. It's already been announced. He's coming back anyway, but Let's see what the fans think. All our comments on the comment board brought to you by All Campus, giving 20% off everything in our store, including hats, shirts, and our team cornhole sets to all of our subscribers. To become a subscriber, join A2D memberships, $9.99 a month. You get some amazing perks, including shout-outs, members-only shows, appearances, and weekly picks from the Money Pop podcast, which airs every Sunday at 10:30. Get you ready for the NFL slate. Bryce Blackwell's in the house. Hold on. I lost a Bryce. Hold on. Bro, we got beat by the same offensive plays 2 weeks straight. It's some football. We'll get the football in a minute. Can't wait till Dallas stomps the Giants because Mophead on the right always hates on Dak. Mophead, yeah, you do need a haircut, Brad. But yeah,
I'll eventually get to the barber. Mophead,
like Prism 280, Kutch had 27 homers or 80 RBIs. He hit 220. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm not bringing Kutch back. Time to go. Phillies should make a push for my guy Pablo Lopez to add to the rotation. Prism 280. Why would the Miami Marlins trade Pablo Lopez? You want to talk about a stable of young studly arms? The Marlins are going to be a factor next year.
Yeah, they're not trading any. Derek Jeter is not trading any of those young.
You have Pablo Lopez. You have Trevor Rogers. You have Alcantara. You have Sixto Sanchez.
Alcantara is really good, by the way.
I mean, they have position guys like Jazz Chisholm who are developing. Jesus Aguilar is a really good player.
They're not far away now.
They're not. They're getting really close. I think they're getting really close to getting their one World Series that they get every 10 years.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If they trade one of those pitchers and get themselves a couple of real good hitters, which I think they could definitely do. Look out for that team.
And then Prism 280 also chimes in. Alec Bohm is 24. Like, this is why I'm done with Alec Bohm. He's 24 already. Like, I see every freaking 19, 20-year-old guy for every other team comes up, and you know right away, this guy's killing it. This guy's killing it. Alec Bohm does nothing for me. He's not a good defender. He can't play third base. So you got to move him to first base, and he doesn't hit good enough in the National League to play first base.
No, you got. So, if you're in the National League, you have.
And you can't put him at DH because he doesn't hit good enough to be. He just doesn't have good at bats. He doesn't put together good at bats. He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough.
He's like Franco. I mean, you might as well bring back Franco if you're going to do that. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Would be okay with a below average hitting center fielder of a Gold Glove caliber defender. There is a guy to keep your name on. Of that ilk. It's Juan Lugaris. He spent a lot of time with the Mets. He's a really good defender.
Always gets hurt. Always gets hurt,
but he's a really good defender.
True. But he's too injury prone for my taste.
But if you go that route in center field, getting a guy who can't hit, he better be a damn good glove.
Oh yeah,
I mean, center field to be an offensive position.
I don't know that he'd be. If, as I said, if you're the Phillies, I want Marte. Sign him 3 years, $50 million. He probably take it. You put him at the top of your lineup, and bang, you got yourself one hell of a leadoff hitter, a guy that's going to steal a lot of bases, and he's going to make Bryce Harper's eyes light up because next year he'll get like 110, 115 RBIs because that guy's going to be in scoring position every other time he's on base. And
then if you sign a shortstop like Story, that's fine. You just put, you put Story third and you put Harper fourth and then Realmuto fifth.
I am not big on Trevor Story.
Neither am I. I want Corey Seager. My number one guy on my wish list, Corey Seager. Starling Marte would be a close second.
Yeah, and if you can't get Seager, Correa would work too.
Is Dombrowski going to spend money this offseason? Don 19, you're from Detroit. You've seen you front row seat to Dave Dombrowski, how he builds a team. He spends money. He brings guys in. Is the owner going to let Dave Dombrowski do his thing? I'm inclined to say yes, because Dave Dombrowski wouldn't have signed on the dotted line to come here to Philadelphia to be a puppet. This isn't Lincoln Financial Field.
No.
Dave Dombrowski is not signing up to be anybody's puppet. He built a champion in Boston. He put a champion in Detroit, and he was the first GM of the Miami Marlins.
Because
he's done it in every situation possible. Medium market in Detroit, big market, expansion team.
He can GM anywhere, Rob. He can GM anywhere he wants. So there's always a job available for a guy like him. So for him, if the whole reason that he would sign here is because it would be his team. So I think he will do the right thing to try to make this team competitive. I thought he did a pretty good job at the deadline.
What's competitive?
Huh?
Were the Phillies competitive this year?
Yeah, they were competitive. They were over 500 at least.
I agree with you.
I mean, they weren't good enough. The problem is though, is that you couldn't beat the Braves, and the Braves were missing their best hitter and their best pitcher.
Well, GM of the year is Anthopoulos
in Seattle.
No, what's the Braves guy's name?
Oh, geez, I can't remember. I think the GM of the year has to be this year. It's got to be the guy.
I thought it was Anthopoulos.
I'm not sure which. That's the guy.
Yeah, Alex Anthopoulos, the GM of the Braves. He did a great job at the deadline. He used to be in Toronto.
Yeah,
I think he used to be in Toronto.
Yeah, he's the one that brought in all that good young talent into Toronto.
So he knows what he's doing. I mean, at the deadline, you're down Soroka, you're down Acuna, and he brings in Duvall, he brings in Rosario, and he brought in somebody else too.
But Duvall, who would have expected that out of Duvall?
And he just catches fire.
Yeah, Duvall. Listen, I like Duvall. Don't get me wrong, but my God, he had an unbelievable year this year.
And Don 19, yeah, that's what I want Dave Dombrowski to do here. He traded like I don't have any use for anybody in the Phillies farm system. They all stink. It's respectable how inept the Phillies are at evaluating talent and bringing talent from A ball to the major leagues because they can't do it. I respect how bad they are at it. That's the point I'm at with it. But I mean, just trade the whole farm system. Trade the whole farm system for Byron Buxton or whoever's available. Just start over. Drop a nuke and just blow up the farm system and start over. Start with whoever. The farm system starts with whoever Dave Dombrowski picked in last year's draft. That's my philosophy on it. So,
Don on the team makes a good point that Dave brought in Prince Fielder and Miguel Cabrera to the Tigers.
Big money for Prince Fielder.
Yeah.
No. He got Prince Fielder for – where did he go? He went to Texas after Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
And then he went to Detroit?
No, he was with Detroit first.
No, he was with Milwaukee first, no?
He was with Milwaukee, you're right. And then he ended up in Detroit, and then he ended up in Texas at the end, and then he hurt his shoulder, and that was it. Yeah, Miguel Cabrera, I mean, you're talking about a first ballot Hall of Famer with that guy.
Yeah, Milwaukee. Yeah, it started in Milwaukee, then he went to Detroit.
Right.
And then he's got the big money deal with Texas.
Right, and then he got hurt.
Look at how many games he played, though, in his prime. So 2006, 157, 2007, 158, 2008, 159, 2009, 162.
Who are we talking about?
Prince Fielder. That's every game. 2010, he missed one game. 2011, 2012, 2013, he played 162 games in all of those seasons. So he missed like 10 games over 7 years. Crazy.
Yeah, he was
unbelievable. All right, Brad, let's get into the playoffs. Your Yankees going up to Fenway. Garrett Cole versus Nasty Nate Eovaldi. I've been back and forth on this one all day from a prediction standpoint. I like the Red Sox lineup better because I fear that if the Yankees aren't feeling it offensively and they strike out a bunch of times, they're just going to hang Garrett Cole out to dry. But Garrett Cole's unbelievable. So if Garrett Cole can, throw up some zeros and let the Yankees get some runs, then, that would favor the Yankees. And obviously the Yankees Garrett Cole's a Cy Young candidate. He's unbelievable. So they get, their horse against an inferior pitcher in Nasty Nate Eovaldi.
I like the Yankees bullpen a lot better, too. What I would say about Nasty Nate Eovaldi, he owned the Yankees until his last two starts. His last two starts, he got beat up in Yankee Stadium. And then, of course, the Friday night game last week, not this past Friday, but the Friday before that when the Yankees went up to Fenway and swept them, the Yankees scored 7 runs in I believe, 2 1/3 innings against them, which obviously is not going to happen because Alex Cora is not going to let him stay in that long if he starts getting rocked like that. But the bottom line is, I think the Yankees are have finally figured out how to hit Nate Eovaldi, and I think the additions of Rizzo and Gallo are going to come up big in that game on Tuesday. I like the Yankees in one game. I don't know that the Yankees can beat the Red Sox in a 7-game series or a 5-game series, but in one game with Garrett Cole pitching, I don't care where they're playing, I like the Yankees. Plus, the Yankees have also beat the Red Sox 6 times in a row, and they pretty much in the second half of the season have done a number on them. The Red Sox won the first 6 games, but then the Yankees won 9 of the last 13. So you can take that any way or where you want it, but most recent history says that the Yankees have been playing better than the Red Sox against each other. So the reason that the Yankees didn't catch the Red Sox is because they lost 8 games against Baltimore. And, that's an Aaron Boone issue because Aaron Boone was resting guys and not using their best players against the Orioles, which came back to bite them in the ass. So when they're tied at the end of the season and some of those losses against Baltimore, it should never have happened, that's on Boone.
What's the sentiment, Brad, about the game among Yankees fans? Are the fans
We
confident?
We all think that they can. We all think they're going to win. I don't think you'll find one Yankee fan that thinks that they can't beat the Red Sox.
What's the lineup going to be tomorrow if you're doing it?
If I'm doing it, okay, you're going to have. I don't think LeMahieu's going to play, so you're probably if LeMahieu plays
because he's hurt.
Yeah, he's got a sports hernia. I don't know if he's going to play, but if he plays, he'll lead off. Rizzo second, Judge third, Stanton fourth, Gallo fifth, Labor Torres sixth, Kyle Higashioka seventh. No, got Kyle Higashioka seventh. Brett
That's
Gardner,
the catcher, right?
And no, I'm sorry. Gio Urshela seventh, Brett Gardner eighth, Kyle Higashioka ninth. I don't think you're going to see Gary in the lineup because Cole's pitching, and Cole doesn't like pitching to Gary.
Interesting. Who's your DH? Stanton?
Stanton, yeah. You can't. One thing about Gallo, I mean, I know he strikes out a lot, but he's an incredible outfielder. And
he's good.
He's got a great arm, and in left field in Fenway Park, honestly, I mean, if the ball hits at the warning track, he could throw you out at home plate. That's what kind of arm he. It's like, you have him at in left, you have Judge in right. You've got two guns in the outfield.
I think the two guys they obtained at the deadline, accompanied by a really good game from Garrett Cole, propels the Yankees to a win. I like the Yankees in this spot.
Well, I
think Rizzo has a good game. I think Gallo has a good game, and I think Garrett Cole pitches well.
Well,
and I agree with you about the Yankees bullpen as opposed to the Red Sox bullpen. And if the Red Sox go to their bullpen early, I don't know what their plan could be.
I can tell you what the Yankees' plan is: Cole for 5, maybe 6. Okay, to be followed by Green in the 6th.
Why are you putting a 5-inning cap on your $333 million ace?
Because he always ends up throwing 100 pitches against the Red Sox in 5 innings.
Yeah, but let him go. I would want Garrett Cole in there for as long as I possibly could. I'd let him throw 9.
If he's effective, yes.
Unless he's not feeling it. If he's feeling it, like I'm not. Pitch counts are out the window. Like this is a wild card game.
I'm just saying worst case scenario though. You have him go 5. Okay, you put Green in the 6th. Then you put Loizaga in the 7th, Severino in the 8th, Chapin to close it out. And then we go to Tampa, which we'll probably lose against Tampa, but I like them against the Red Sox.
Now, what do you think? You said your lineup. What do you think Boone's going to do?
I think he's going to do exactly what I'm saying, unless LeMahieu can't play. If LeMahieu can't play, then I think you're going to see probably at third. Well, at third base, you're going to see Gio Urshela, and you might see Andrew Velasquez at shortstop, or Tyler Wade. I think they'll save Tyler Wade because Tyler Wade is like the pinch running specialist. He stole almost 20. I think he stole like 20 bases this year, and he was doing a lot of pinch running this year. And he's unbelievable when he gets on the base paths. If you notice, he scored the winning run yesterday on the Judge ground ball to second base. And I think almost any other guy in the league would have been thrown out on that play, and he beat it pretty easily. So it could be you could have if he can outplay, Velasquez will play short because he is a glove. He can't hit, but he is a glove. And then Urshela would be playing third, and in that case, Higashioka would be batting 8th, and Velasquez would bat 9th.
So Yankees win. You go to so then they're going to play the Rays. We'll talk about the American League, then we'll get into the National League. That wild card game will be on Wednesday night. St. Louis Cardinals traveling to Chavez Ravine, taking on the Dodgers, which should be a good one. Get to that. Get to the National League in a second. So then you got your Yankees. We're both agreeing a lot tonight on Yankees, Rays. Brad, I think the Rays they're just better than the Yankees.
I agree, Rob. I just don't see it. I mean, listen, I'd love to say otherwise. The Yankees did play better against the Rays this year during the season than they did last year, but they were still set. They were still 8-11 against the Rays, which isn't good enough. I know when the chips were down and they had to win, they won the game Sunday. But they've had their problems against the Rays for 3 years now. I mean, the Rays are good, and they only got better when they put Wander Franco at shortstop. So
I'm sick of just doubting the Rays. Like, makes no sense. They don't spend money. They're a day late and a dollar short on talent, as opposed to the New York Yankees, as opposed to the Boston Red Sox. Yeah, they win 100 games every year. They beat the Boston Red Sox. They beat the Yankees consistently
because they're pitching. They don't have great starting pitching. They use 4 to 5 pitchers every game, and it just seems like every pitcher that's on that staff is really good. And there's no and you can't quibble about that. That's just how it is. They seemingly all their pitchers pitch like one. You know what I mean? They all fit so well together. And Kevin Cash uses them all so well together. That's why they win. They have a real good bullpen. They don't actually have a steadfast closer that you can say is the definite closer. They just use whoever they think analytically matches up best, and they're the best at that. They're the ones that started with the opener, and they still do it. And they were able to prove that they could do it over a long season. And that's even after they lost arguably one of the best pitchers in the American League earlier in the season, and it didn't even faze them. I mean, how does that happen? I mean, you lose Tyler Glass now, who's arguably one of the best pitchers in the American League, if not baseball, and it's just like who cares? We throw Josh Fleming out there, we throw Shane McClanahan out there. Doesn't matter. They just throw whoever it is out there.
They just have prospects. They have the prospects. You mentioned Wander Franco. What's the name of the guy that they had late in the season they brought up, and he pitched twice? He pitched really good against the Blue Jays one game.
This year?
Yeah. Just a couple weeks ago.
That was McClanahan.
No, it wasn't McCann. He was like the number 20 prospect in all of baseball.
Oh, geez, I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Let me get it.
But they're loaded. I mean, it's amazing how they do it, but they just do it. And putting Nelson Cruz in that lineup is just ridiculous.
Shane Baz.
Baz, yeah. Oh, yeah, Baz is good.
6'2", 190, throws right, 22 years old. What more do you want? Throws heat.
Yep, they all do.
MLB debut against a great lineup, Toronto Blue Jays. No problem. Six strong. Keeps you in it.
They're just Rob. They're really good. I mean, there's not much bad things you can say about them. I mean, you look at the team. Okay, you have guys like Meadows, Cruz,
Stud.
Franco, Rosarina. I mean,
all
these guys are guys that don't. And Cruz, even though he's a power hitter, he doesn't strike out that much. All these guys can hit. They don't strike out a lot. They move runners. Joey Wendell is a classic example. He's not a great player, but he just, he does everything right.
Little things.
Yeah, if the runner needs to be moved over from second to third, he's going to pull the ball. Okay, the Rays, if there's a runner on third and one out, they're going to get the run in with a sacrifice fly. They just will. It's in their DNA. This is what they do, and they do it so effectively, and that's why they win games. Kevin Keermeyer, who's not really a great hitter, this year he had a huge year for himself. I think he hit 254. I mean, for Kevin Keermeyer, 254 is like would be like, Ronald Correa is hitting 350. I mean, you've seen enough of him. He's a great center fielder, but he's not
right.
He's no stud as far as that's concerned.
Greg Balakovic, he agrees to the poll, although I wouldn't hate it if he was canned. He deserves to start the year, but his seat is warm. That's in reference to our poll question. Joe Girardi, should he be back? I mean, I'm not firing Joe Girardi midseason next year either.
I'm not firing Joe Girardi unless they get him the talent and he can't produce with it. That's the bottom line. If you got some players and you're not getting you're not getting the best out of your players, then it's his fault. Who exactly in the bullpen was so wonderful that he wasn't pitched all that great that you could put it on him?
No one.
That's what I'm saying.
Joke.
Yeah, he's not the one that brought in all these guys. I mean, Dombrowski needs to fix above everything else. He does. They do need to get a shortstop. Agreed, 100%.
And then Matt Spillane, I would, yeah, losing Tyler Glasnow is the equivalent of the Yankees losing Garrett Cole or the Phillies losing Zach Wheeler.
Oh, absolutely, and it didn't even matter. That's what's so unbelievable.
Yeah, they still won 100 games.
Yeah, and they also at the end of last season, they let Charlie Morton go. I mean, are you kidding me? They let Charlie Morton go.
They traded Snell.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. And that's the whole thing with Tampa Bay. They got such an incredible farm system, and their scouts must be unbelievable.
They are. Greg, Joe made his fair. Frank Greg Milakovic. Joe made his fair share of mistakes himself. I hear you, but he wasn't great this year. Yeah, he wasn't perfect. I'll 100% concede that, but I mean, how can you blame him for just when a stupid reporter asked him, did you think about going to the bullpen there when he leaves Nola or Wheeler in too long? Like, would you trust the bullpen with anything? Like, no. But he can't say that because then he loses his locker room. But that's why he throws his hands out. Like, what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. Listen, Joe has no problem going when Joe is managing the Yankees. I used to think he'd take the starting pitchers and we'd take them out too soon. That he over relied on the bullpen.
John Adduck, you let Joe go for who though? I mean, if you're done with if you're done with a manager and he's doing a bad job or a coach, I don't subscribe to who are you going to get if you fire him? No, you make the decision that this guy's not good enough and I can't win. You fire him and then you find a replacement. There's plenty of guys you can get if you're inclined to do so.
There's a million managers out there. They could be ready to manage right now. Don't think there's just one guy.
The only thing Girardi and the Phillies got right was Ranger Suarez. If that kid can remain composed and gain better command, sky's the limit. Is Gibson here next year? Yes, I believe Gibson will be here next year just because you need 5 guys to fill out a rotation. So, I don't think Kyle Gibson's going to cost an exorbitant amount of money. You have a top 5 market. You did trade Spencer Howard for him. So, you keep him around and you turn Spencer Howard into Gibson. That can help you for a couple years till you can figure out.
I have a pitcher for you who's a free agent, who I just remembered was a free agent.
Gibson's under contract. Thank you, Greg.
Steven Matz.
Well, Steven Matz, I'd be all for it. I think he earned himself. The only thing with Steven Matz, Brad, is I think he pitched so well this year that he pitched himself into getting overpaid by someone. Again, that feels like a Seattle Mariner move. Kevin Gausman, Steven Matz, guys like that. I'm not making fun of Seattle, but I feel like that's what Seattle or the Angels will do to try and bolster what they have, but they're going to have to overpay to do it. I don't want to overpay for starting pitcher. I'll overpay for Corey Seager. I'll overpay for Trevor Story, Starling Marte. I'll overpay in a trade for Byron Buxton.
Understood. I don't know how much you'd overpay for a guy like him though, because he's more like the second and third tier pitcher. You know what I mean? It's not we're not talking about Scherzer, who's going to get probably 3 years and $90 million. That's probably what you're going to look at with Scherzer. I would say Matz might be 3 years, $40 million, 3 years, $36 million, something like that. I can't imagine he's going to get much more than that.
Yeah, Matt's with Greg and Matt Spillane going back and forth in the chat. Sadly, Ranger Suarez wasn't the top contender, first option for that 5th starter spot. They wanted to be Bailey Falter. which this is why we need we need arms. We need young, live arms in this farm system, not overpaying guys like Steven Matz. In my opinion, if I'm putting together the baseball team, I'm backing up that truck and I'm bashing away until I can figure out something.
I'm just telling you,
in terms of pitching,
some guys that could be available and should be on your radar.
All right, so moving on. I hope the White Sox lose Don 19. I hate Tony La Russa with a passion so much. That brings us to our next series. We're in unison so far on the Sportstown playoff bracket. We both have the Yankees beating the Red Sox, and then the Yankees losing to the Rays. So we have the Rays in the ALCS.
And as you all know, I am a Yankee fan. So if I'm sitting here telling you that they're going to lose, okay, don't call me a homer because I'm not.
We tell the truth.
Honest.
We tell the truth.
Yeah.
For better or worse, we tell the truth here on the Sports Rounds.
People, a lot of Yankee fans get mad at me and call me and say I'm not a true fan because I don't think they're going to win. Hey, I watch as many games as any Yankee fan out there, and I'm telling you, I don't think they're beating Tampa. I hope they do, and I'll be swearing at the TV set for the next week if they lose to the Rays. But in my heart of hearts, I don't know that they can beat the Rays. They haven't proven it.
Matt's believing we cannot be successful. The Phillies cannot be successful next year unless we have 5 starters. Boggles my mind why they force-fed us bullpen games during a division race. The last few months can't succeed that way unless you're the Rays. Look, I hear you, but I'm not overpaying for pitching. I'm going over the luxury tax. I'm letting Dave Dombrowski do his thing. I'm bringing in bat after bat after bat after bat, and I'm just hoping that Nola can get it together and Wheeler is really good and Suarez develops and you have Gibson under contract, and I'm just hoping that's enough. I want good defense. I want a good, solid, everyday lineup and get live young arms in my farm system somehow. But moving on, the other ALDS series, that's still best of 5, right?
The ALDS is best of 5.
Best of 5. So best of 5, Houston Astros, Chicago White Sox.
I like the Astros.
You like the Astros. I like the White Sox. I like the White Sox here.
All right, listen, if you're asking me who I'm rooting for, I think we all know. You
hate the Astros. Everybody knows you hate the Astros.
But I just think that the Astros pitching staff is too old. And I think that the Houston hitters are too good, and I don't think they're going to get them out in a big spot.
Wait, you think Houston pitchers are too old?
No, I think that the White Sox starting pitchers, for the most part, not counting Giolito, but guys like Dallas Keuchel, Lance Lynn. I just have a feeling Houston's going to just crush those guys. Just a feeling. I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
I disagree. I see that. I see the White Sox pitching being okay, and I think that the White Sox lineup, which is a very good lineup, is going to be able to get to the Astros starters.
Oh, I definitely think they will.
Both teams have a pretty good bullpen.
I think that the Astros right now still have a better lineup.
Are you sure? Really?
Yeah.
And the White Sox?
Well, look, you look at Gurriel Yuli Gurriel placed first, and he won the batting title. Okay? You got Altuve at second base, who's always a real good playoff player. Correa is still a real good player. You got him at short. You got Bregman at third, and you still have Brantley in the outfield. That's a damn good lineup. I don't see it. I mean,
but I'm looking at Dylan Cease, Giolito, Lance Lynn as your top 3 in a 5-game series.
But I think they're going to smoke. I think they're going to smoke Eichel and Lynn. It's Dylan Cease is not.
I'm not starting Keuchel. I'm not starting Keuchel.
Okay, who's your 4 pitchers in that series? Excuse me.
Giolito.
Okay.
Lynn. Cease.
Dylan
Rodon.
Cease. Is Rodon healthy?
They're using them. They've said they plan to use him once in the ALDS. I read it before we went on the air.
Probably. I mean, he could end up opening the series, to be honest with you.
Rodon? I don't know about that.
I think Rodon, if Rodon is healthy, he's the best pitcher.
You start. I mean, Lynn's an absolute bulldog. Well, I don't know how they set it up. You can probably, if you look at.
Yeah, I would think you're probably right. So Giolito, Rodon, Lynn, and who's the fourth pitcher? Cease.
Right, I would go. I would go Giolito, Lynn, Cease, Rodon. Maybe you don't have to use Rodon. I think Rodon is. But I mean, that's a good. And then what's the Astros? The Astros have Greinke.
Right, Greinke. I guess Framber Valdez. I think.
But you're telling me you trust Framber Valdez more than Lance Lynn? Really?
You know what? The White Sox do have better starting pitching, but I still like the Astros.
The White Sox have a better lineup too.
Do they?
I think.
But the thing is, they're real young players. Are they ready to beat Houston?
Well, Brad, you know me. I'm a big trial by fire guy.
Yeah. No, listen. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know that they're ready to take that big of a step yet. I mean, at certain point, you would think so. Don 19 wants to know if I want the Astros to make it so that the Yankees can beat them. The Yankees handled them pretty easily during the season, actually, to be honest with you. But you know what? I can't stand the Astros. I hope they lose every game. So it doesn't matter to me. Listen, if the Yankees get past Tampa Bay, which will be a miracle in itself, but if they get past Tampa Bay, they're going to beat whoever they play after that. Then it's going to be on to the World Series. But they're going to have to beat Tampa Bay, and until they do that, you're not going to convince me that they can do that right now.
So then in the White Sox bullpen, I think the White Sox are loaded. I think the White Sox are going to win the World Series.
The White Sox have Kimbrel, and there's no question they have a good bullpen.
Kimbrel, Hendricks,
Kyle,
and Kopech, and I would assume that Dallas Keuchel will be a lefty long reliever.
So he's not going to be a starting pitcher in this series.
No, I just named you the four. I mean, I think Rodon's. I think you let the kids go.
I'm thinking you're going to have probably Greinke. You're going to have Greinke, Framber Valdez, Luis Garcia, and who's the other one?
Urita, or however you say his name.
Urquidy.
Urquidy.
Yeah, Urquidy. Trying to think who's the who am I missing? Who am I missing with
McCullers.
Lance McCullers, right.
You got to think he'll start game one, right? McCullers?
He could start game one, actually.
I know you have Greinke with the pedigree, but, I mean, Lance McCullers pretty good.
He's very good. I really, Greinke didn't have a good year this year. But I would think that he would step up in the playoffs and give you a solid performance. I would use McCullers as my game one starter. So
have I sold you on the White Sox pitching?
Yes,
over the Houston. Okay, good.
They don't have as good pitching. It's just that Houston's experience especially with their hitting. I just don't know. I mean, I hope they lose. You know how much I can't stand Houston, but they can hit. I mean,
now I want to compare their lineups because this is an interesting series. I think whoever wins this series represents the AL in the World Series.
Either one of these teams can beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but now I'm going to revert back. I'm going to concede my Tampa Bay confusion on how they do this against the Yankees. I'm going to pick them to beat the Yankees, but then I can't get over them beating the White Sox or the Astros.
It's real close.
So the White Sox, I want to compare these lineups though. So Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Alvarez, Gurriel.
Yeah, I forgot about you. I forgot about Alvarez. Alvarez is freaking. It's a freaking beast.
And then you have Kyle Tucker, Miles Straw.
No, Miles. No,
He went. This is bad information. This is bad information. Yes.
Yeah, Straw's on Cleveland, so that's not correct.
Oh, okay. I have it sorted by plate appearances because Miles Straw was on the.
Yeah, but he got traded to Cleveland, so. Yeah, you were on Alvarez.
Here, this is their. So you have. Now, guys could have sat, but you have Tucker. I don't know, because you Marwin Gonzalez, Maldonado's your catcher. That's a defense for defensive purposes.
Yeah, but Marwin Gonzalez is not going to be in the starting lineup. And for the most part, their outfield. I think Chris McCormick is one of the.
McCormick will play, yeah.
McCormick and Tucker, I think, are their two outfielders. But Brantley, you have Brantley, Gurriel, Altuve, Bregman, and Correa. I mean, that's a tough team.
Well, I got Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Moncada, Grandel.
We're forgetting somebody on that team.
On what team?
On the White Sox. One of their young super.
Jose Abreu?
Yes.
Which I guess he got. I have it. This was their lineup, so I guess he got a break in the season finale.
Yeah,
I have their lineups up. Both teams' lineups up from their last game of the season because I had it organized by plate appearances, but that obviously is confusing because some of the guys that have at bats for the team aren't.
Okay, so there you've got Tim Anderson at short, Jose Abreu, Eloy Jimenez.
It's a better lineup. Grandal, Moncada.
Is Grandal healthy again?
Yeah, he's been playing. Okay,
Jan Moncada, who's not, he's okay. He's not great, but he's an okay third baseman. He can hit a little bit. Andrew Vaughn, who's their first baseman / outfielder, who can really hit.
Lark McFlung. Yeah, post your questions in the comment. We'll get to as many questions as we can with 9:15. And then keep it right here locked in on A2D Radio. Flight Zone comes up at 9:30 with Evan and Jimmy. We do a great job.
Yeah, and
keep it right here. Post your questions. We're breaking down AL, DS. We'll get to the National League with some Monday Night Football. So we keep it locked right here till 11 o'clock at night. We'll answer all your questions.
Houston does have I think Houston has a better bench. You got a guy like Billy Hamilton who's
what does the bench mean? What does it mean in the American League? It doesn't mean nothing. It means dick.
Pinch runners.
Okay.
Pinch runners and a lot in the American League they do platoon a lot. So that that is important. And every real good team always seems to have that one guy that you can put in the lineup at any time, like Billy Hamilton, who can fly. And in a close game in the ninth inning, Jose Abreu gets on base. He's slow as shit. All of a sudden, Billy Hamilton is in there. Billy Hamilton can steal second and steal third. And if he doesn't, he gets the pitcher so nervous, he makes a mistake while he's pitching to Eloy Jimenez. And something bad happens. That's the difference. That's the one thing that they have that's an advantage. You know what? After going back and forth with you, Chicago's the more talented team. Houston is the more experienced team. Chicago just looked so awful last year when they played Oakland in the playoffs. So, I mean, I still think Houston's going to find a way to win the series. I hope I'm wrong.
So I have the White Sox. I think this will go the full 5 games. Should be a very entertaining series. So then, who do you have representing the American League in the World Series?
Tampa Bay.
Okay. Now, let's get to the National League here because we got a
National League is tough. Tough to finish.
David and Goliath wild card match. Should be a lot of fun on Wednesday night. You have Adam Wainwright and the red-hot St. Louis Cardinals taking on the juggernaut that is Max Scherzer and the Dodgers. I'll start right off. I'm picking the Cardinals. They're playing awesome. Tyler O'Neill is hitting every pitch he sees out of the ballpark. Arenado's playing great. Goldschmidt's playing great. Molina's playing great. Wainwright's pitching well. They don't lose games ever. I don't know. I think they.
What did they win? Like 18 of their last 19? Something.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just an astronomical last month of the season. It's one of the best all time. The best. They've never had a 15-game win streak in their whole franchise's history. They've been around for 125 years. It's unbelievable what the Cardinals are doing.
And that they've had some great players on their team.
Absolutely. I'm going with the Cardinals. All the pressure is on the Dodgers. You have Max Scherzer. You're at home. You won 100 games. You just lose out to the Giants, so you got to play in this wild card game. All the pressure is on the Dodgers, and I think the Cardinals get them.
And Adam Wainwright this year, as you know, was spectacular.
Awesome. He got himself a $17 million contract next year. That's how good he was.
Yep.
He's 44 years old. It's crazy.
And you know what's amazing about him is he is fearless, and he has the experience to go in there. He has won world championships. Okay, as great as Max Scherzer is, and I know he won one a couple of years ago. I don't know with the Dodgers. It's hard to repeat, and they had a real good season. But you know what? They couldn't. They may just be tired from trying to chase down the Giants. And as hot as the Cardinals are, if it was a 5-game series or a 7-game series, I would definitely take the Dodgers. But in one game, I'm going to take the Cardinals too. I agree with you.
Cardinals, they'll go and they'll take on
the Brewers and the Braves.
Okay, so they'll take on the Giants. I like the Giants. I think there's just something about this San Francisco Giant team.
Yeah,
that's just kind of special.
Yeah, they're special this year. There's just something about them. They just find ways. They find ways to win, which they just do, and they do it to everybody. It's remarkable. They're just having one of those seasons. I don't know if they're even going to be contenders next year, but you know what? There's a lot of veterans on that team, and I think they're going to find a way to win. I think that they're going to go all the way to the World Series.
I tend to agree with you. Then you got the Braves and the Brewers. This should be really fun. I wouldn't want to be playing the Braves right now. The Braves are really talented. But in a 5-game series, with
that Brewer pitching staff, though, I got to go with
Peralta, Burns, and Woodruff.
Yeah,
it's a shame that jackass Devin Williams punched a wall celebrating, and he'll be out. I mean, that could cost him. He's a good player.
No, I know. But boy, that threesome of pitching is awfully good. Although I like Atlanta's hitting better.
Because Atlanta's throwing out Fried, Morton, and Anderson, probably with Morton first, I would imagine.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
And I like the Braves lineup better.
Don't like their bullpen, though.
I don't like their bullpen, but Milwaukee's bullpen's diminished too. I'm picking the Braves. I'm going for it.
Yeah,
I'm picking the Braves.
I'm going to pick the Brewers. I just think that, it just seems to me like their bullpen, the Brewers' bullpen is going to be the difference. The Braves do not have a great bullpen, and that is a problem for them.
And then I'll take the Giants over the Braves in the NLCS.
Yeah, I would take the Giants over the Brewers as well. So I think I think it's going to be Tampa and the Giants, and I think Tampa finds a way to beat them. I think Tampa's going to win this year.
And then I'm going to take the White Sox in the AL. Oh boy, National.
Although
no, I got the Giants in the National League. I'm sorry. I have Giants over Cardinals in the AL in the NLDS, and then I have the Giants over the Braves in the NLCS.
Yeah, and I would pick the Giants over.
Boy, who should I pick? Should I pick the White Sox or I'm going to pick the Giants just because I think something special's going on there and something's been going special's been going on the whole season there. You have a great pitching staff, a pretty good bullpen. A bunch of bulldogs like Buster Posey and Brandon Crawford and Brandon Belt who have been there a million times, won world championships. That's true. I forgot about that. But,
I
I
don't
mean,
think it
Darren
matters.
Ruff, he hit 25 home runs. Former Phillies great. Darren,
Yeah, I
he
mean,
hit 25 home runs.
will it really matter that Brandon Belt isn't playing?
The Giants remind me of the 2017 Eagles, where it's their time, it's their year.
The sum of the parts, the sum of the parts is not as good as the whole team. The team wins. They have the it factor this year, and I agree with you.
So I'm going to pick and like you said, I think the White Sox are going to be contenders for a long time to come with that young core. Where the Giants might go out and lose 100 games next year.
Yeah,
they're not set up to sustain success.
Yeah, I don't think that they're. I don't think the White Sox are ready to get to the World Series yet. I think at some point they're going to win they'll put together a couple of championships. I just don't think right now is the time that it's going to happen. I think that they're maybe 1-2 players away from that happening.
All right, let's move on to football. This game's just about to kick off with a lightning delay in a football game, which is weird because I thought that the LA stadium was a dome. So I'm puzzled and confused by that. How there's a weather delay at a game that's inside a dome.
Well, what's going to be
right? This is in Los Angeles.
Yeah, there's going to be more Raider fans there than Charger fans.
You're probably right about that.
If you're looking at they just showed some of the fans. I mean, all I'm seeing is, I'm seeing a lot of black and silver and black there. And there's a few Charger fans back there, but
I still like
silver and black.
I still like the Chargers in this game. I think the Chargers are more talented. I think the Chargers have a better quarterback.
I agree.
The Chargers are at home.
I don't know that that's going to matter quite as much as you think it does, because I think there's going to be a lot of Raider fans there too. But
maybe you're right.
The Chargers, I think, are a better team than the Raiders. They have a better defense. I mean, the Raiders' defense is eventually going to start showing up where we expected them to at the beginning of the season. If you remember, we both kind of agreed that their defense is going to be the problem. And so far it's held up, but I just don't think that it's going to continue.
Herbert's getting the ball here to start. We'll keep you updated. Lark, Maflorg, thoughts on Devontae Smith for Javonte Williams. They have a pretty deep wide receiver core in a 12-man PPR league. Lamb, Debo, Lockett, Malcolm Brown, Marquise Brown, Manuel Sanders-Gordon. I don't know, man. I would keep Devontae Smith. I think he's a great talent, especially in a PPR league. I would hold Devontae Smith. I'd maybe try and float one of them other receivers you got out there.
Josh Gordon, I don't know about him.
Yeah, he shouldn't even be on your team. Josh Gordon shouldn't even be on your team. He's got signed to a practice squad. He shouldn't be on anyone's fantasy football team.
Yeah, I don't know about him.
But, Brad, so everybody in the NFC East wins yesterday except the Eagles. I was proud of
the Eagles played.
They fought hard, and they did well, and I was proud of them.
They played by far the best team out of the 4 teams. I mean, the Chiefs are just a better team than the Eagles at this point. I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes is who he is. He's gonna get 30 to 40 points almost every week. And the Eagles at this point, once it started to be a shootout, you knew the Eagles were dead. There was no way that they could keep up. Their defense might be able to stop them once, but they wouldn't
did.
stop them.
They got 1 interception. They had 8 defensive The Chiefs had 8 offensive possessions. They had 7 offensive possessions. They had 6 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They may be able to stop them a couple of times, but I mean, most teams are going to have trouble doing that with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just an unbelievable offensive machine. And the Eagles are not an unbelievable offensive machine, and the Eagles have problems on the defensive side of the football. I mean,
the Eagles have problems at middle linebacker, Brad. Alex Singleton is the weak link on this defense because they had weak links at both linebacker and safety on Monday night against the Dallas Cowboys. And safety was kind of shored up. Rodney McLeod made his season debut yesterday. He played really well. He made some sound tackles, kind of solidified that safety position as an NFL competent position group. Brad, these linebackers stink. Alex Singleton, bless his heart, he goes out there, he tries his best. He's undersized. He ends up making a lot of tackles. That's what everyone wants to point out to me. But, Brad, my middle linebacker has 12 tackles, and all of his tackles are made 8 yards down the field. What does that do for me? It does nothing for me.
Well, part of the problem,
Brad, alls they did, Dallas, when we did the live reaction show, was Dallas pounded the A and B gap. They ran it right down the Eagles' throats. The Eagles didn't have a linebacker or a safety, for that matter, that could step in the A and B caps and make a play. What the Chiefs did yesterday, because they have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he's a little bit of a different back than Zeke and Pollard, is all they did was they stretched it out, and then cut it back in the running game. And there was no linebacker that could step in the hole and make a play because Alex Singleton stinks. You have Devontae Smith at receiver now.
The other problem is that it's not just a running situation with the Chiefs. I mean, you've got to stop Kelsey, and you've got to stop. I mean, they have so many guys that you have to stop on that team. It's really hard to do.
Which Kelsey had 2 catches. But Tyreek Hill had 10 catches and 3 scores, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a $110 on the ground.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You could stop, but you could stop one of them, but you can't stop all of them. I mean,
but I'm just saying, Brad, you stop the run if you have a capable middle linebacker. All he had to do was step in the hole in the cutback lane and make a play, and they couldn't do it. They got gashed. It was the same running. It was the same run every play. Every play, they strung it out wide. They cut it back, and there was no linebacker there to.
They're not going to
step in the hole.
Have to face that this week. They're going to be playing the Panthers this week, and the Panthers, while they're not a bad team, are nowhere near the offensive talent as the Dallas Cowboys or the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'll tell you this: I will guarantee victory in Carolina next week if the Eagles play like they did on Sunday against the Chiefs. They will 1,000% go down to Carolina, go down to Charlotte, and get a big win on the road.
Is McCaffrey playing?
Doesn't sound like it. We'll go through this week and we'll figure that out. But
yeah, that's the key.
It seemed like
if McCaffrey's not playing, I tend to agree with you. If McCaffrey's playing, that could be a big problem for them.
Like Hurts did well. I don't think he played as well as he did in the opener, but I thought Hurts played well. So Hurts, I listened to Money Morning Quarterback for a little bit before we came on the air, and their assessment of Jalen Hurts was spot on. He got an A+ the first game against Atlanta. He got an F against the Niners. He got an F against the Cowboys, and he got, I would say, a B. I would give him a B for yesterday's performance against the Chiefs. Missed some throws, but overall, 3-step drops, got out of his hands. Good game plan, good execution of the game plan by the quarterback. Brad, the Eagles have to figure out the red zone. They're dreadful in the red zone. This guy just doesn't know how to call plays. Sirianni doesn't know how to call plays in the red zone. It's killing him. You got to get touchdowns. You got to get touchdowns in the red zone.
Is he the play caller?
Yes.
Why doesn't he just have somebody else do that? Okay.
I don't know, but he
doesn't try to run. You have to when you're in the red zone, especially inside the 10-yard line. It really helps if you can run the ball.
Well, he started going to Gainwell more and more because I don't think
he must not.
I don't think Miles Sanders is any good. He dances around too much. He dances around. He's got to see the hole. He's got to put his foot in the ground and get north-south. He wants to juke and jive down the field. He's not Barry Sanders. He's not that good.
Yeah, I remember a player that used to play for the Giants that used to do that. Remember Ron Dane?
Yes.
Yeah. Big guy.
And he was 260 pounds. Like, put your foot in the ground.
Yeah. Well, that was what Ron Dane used to do. He'd try to run around you instead of just running over people, which is what he did in Wisconsin. And
Great trained Dane.
Yeah, but he didn't do it in the pros, and I think the same thing is happening with Miles Sanders, unfortunately. Which leads me to the Giants, who I think we saw Daniel Jones yesterday earn his first A as a Giant quarterback.
Correct.
He was in the fourth quarter. The Giants down 21-10, brings them down the field. They score the touchdown. They get the touchdown. Then they go and they get the 2-point conversion, which that in itself, if you're a Giant fan, that's a minor miracle. And then with 2 minutes, their defense comes up big, stops the Saints. Giants get the ball back on the 25-yard line. Daniel Jones runs them right down the field. They get a field goal to tie it. And then they win the toss in overtime, and they get the touchdown. And what's even more impressive about that was first and goal on the 6-yard line, they spread it out, and then they give the ball to Saquon up the middle, and the Saints got caught with their pants down. He went right up the middle and scored. See, that's why a running game in the red zone means everything. Because we didn't have to worry about Daniel Jones trying to throw a touchdown pass. He used his running game, and the Saints thought that they were going to try to throw, and didn't work out. So the Giants finally win a game, and now this week they get the privilege of getting their brains beat in by the Cowboys. But
I don't know. You sure about that? I think they're getting Dallas in a good spot.
I don't know. You know what? The Giants, look, they played real well against the Saints, but the Saints do not have the weapons the Cowboys have.
No, and I think the honeymoon's kind of over. Everyone kind of got enamored with the Jameis Winston experience after 5 touchdowns in Week 1 against the Packers.
Right.
I think the last 3 games, whatever it's been, have been more indicative of the season that Jameis Winston is going to have.
Well, there's one guy on the Saints to me, other than Keermeyer, who can kill you, and that's that Deontay. I can't remember his name.
Deontay Harris, the little slot guy.
Yeah, he's the one guy. I think there's 2 guys you have to pay a lot of attention to on New Orleans right now, and it's a lot easier to worry about 2 guys than it is playing against the Cowboys when you have all those receivers. And then you have to deal with Zeke as well. I don't know that the Giants are up to this one. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong, but it's going to be real tough.
And the Washington football team, they go on the road to Atlanta. They eke out a last-second win against the Falcons. I think me and you both had the book. We were right on the money with the Washington football team as far as them not being contenders in the NFC East. And
no, they're okay. They're like, they're going to be 7-10, 8-9. Maybe if they're lucky, 9-8. That's what they're going to be. I'll tell you one thing that they did right though, and this isn't to take a swipe at the Eagles, but Ryan Kerrigan, they seemed to get rid of him at the right time, didn't they?
Yeah, he's done nothing, and I knew he was going to do nothing because if Ryan Kerrigan, with the resume he has, could still play, he would have signed with a contender, not the Philadelphia Eagles who went 4-11-1 last year. If he could play and it was out there that he could play, like Seattle, the Rams, the Packers, like a contending team would have jumped in on him. The fact that the Eagles won that sweepstakes for Ryan Kerrigan tells me all I need to know that he's shot and washed up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I heard they got him, I said to myself, oh, man. Really?
He's not good anymore.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it seems like that. I thought that would affect the Washington football team's defense, but it's affected them positively. By the way, I did hear something interesting from somebody who I happen to know about the Washington football team and their name. Okay? That name was done purposely to piss off the commissioner. They did that to not have a name because they wanted to say to them, okay, you're not going to let us call ourselves the Redskins, then we're just going to call ourselves the football team. Is that good enough for you? So that name is basically a troll name.
And they're supposed to change it in the offseason. The Washington football team is, in the it's like the generals, the presidents, the monuments.
Yeah, I think the football team. I've been told by a couple of Redskins fans that they did this on purpose as a troll to the commissioner. So, because they're not real happy with having to retire the name. So, take it for what it's worth, guys. But, this is coming from Redskins fans.
All right, let's do early leans. Last 10 minutes of the show here. Stay tuned for Flight Zone, Jimmy, Evan. Way too early preview of next week's NFL action. Week 5 already, brought to you by FanUp. Leader in FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. Sign up now. FanUp only on the Apple App Store to win your fair share of great prizes, daily NFL contests, and more. Sign up today. Use the promo code A2D. Get yourself a little bonus. Stretch it out. It's already week 5. You no problem stretching all the free money they give you into the whole season. It's a no-brainer. Sign up. FanUp. Way too early look at the week 5 action. Chargers up 7-0 on the Raiders, by the way. Herbert let him right down opening drive, got a touchdown. But, Brad, Thursday night game, a premier Thursday night matchup, which I hate that this game is on Thursday night. But the Los Angeles Rams go up to Seattle. Rams are a 2.5-point favorite on the road.
Oh, I take Seattle with the points.
I like the Rams. Rams are a better team.
I agree, but I mean, betting against Seattle at home is a dangerous proposition. Bad loss, by the way, for the Rams. They really were.
They got smoked, and Arizona's for real.
Yeah, Arizona's looking good, but I'm going to have to go with Seattle in this one. Seattle really has to win this game.
I'll lay it. I'll lay the 2.5. I'll take the Rams. They're a better team.
Agreed.
I guess I'll just take the better team. I'm not wagering any real significant money on.
Yeah,
this.
I wouldn't. That would not be one of my big bets.
Over under at 54. I kind of like the under there. That might be the play to look at.
Well, if Seattle's going to win, it's got to be over.
We got a London game. The New York Jets and the Atlanta Falcons go across the pond. 9:30 start.
You know, what the hell? I'm going to take the Jets.
I like the Jets, too. They're getting 3.5 on a neutral field. Atlanta stinks. I'll take 3.5.
You know what? I really like what we saw out of their quarterback yesterday. I know the Titans are a very strange team, and they're hard to figure from week to week. But Wilson looks really good.
They still can't stop anyone, Brad.
Who, the Jets?
No, the Titans.
Oh, the Titans. Yeah. Well, I think that was more. I'm wondering, are they going to make a quarterback change? Because I've heard rumors that the Titans are going to make a quarterback change.
Tannehill? Who's their backup?
I don't remember his name, but they were mentioning it today, and they were mentioning it today on the NFL network that they're thinking about it. So
that seems extreme.
Yeah, that does. But that was a big win for the Jets. Now they're actually even with the Dolphins and the Patriots. So if they ever could beat Atlanta, which is certainly not impossible. At least they may have a leg up on the rest of the division, other than Buffalo, who's just ridiculous right now.
Yeah, Logan Woodside is the Tennessee Titans backup quarterback.
Yeah, they were talking about that on NFL Network today.
He's 26 years old. He was a 7th-round pick
out
of Toledo.
I'm just reporting what they were talking about today because the Titans were not happy about losing yesterday.
And they should just relax.
Yeah, I agree. Still early. And you know what? The Colts are 1-3, so they shouldn't be that worried about it.
Next game, we're getting the Sunday 1 o'clock action. The Green Bay Packers visit the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are 3.5-point home dogs. The Bengals look good, Brad. Joe Burrow looks great. Jamar Chase looks great. The Bengals are 3-1, and they're giving the fans of Cincinnati something to be excited about. They have a franchise quarterback.
But they're stepping up in class in this one. I kind of like Green Bay.
I kind of do too.
I mean, it's look, Cincinnati. But at the end of the season, you're going to be looking back and saying, "Oh man, seriously, only 3 points against the Packers."
You know what? I take it back. I'll take the points.
Okay.
I'll take the 3.5. I think Joe Burrow plays well.
I'll give them. I just don't know that Cincinnati's defense is going to be up to the task. That's
fair. I think they show up at home and they play well.
What's the over/under in that game?
49.5.
Yeah, the more points.
I like the over.
Yeah, the more points that get scored, the better chance Cincinnati has of winning.
Next game, Dolphins visiting Tampa. I think Tampa rolls in this game. They're laying 10 at home to the Dolphins, who stink.
Yes, they do.
This might turn out to be a genius move for Howie Roseman trading with them in the draft because they might have a top 10 pick, and it's the Eagles' pick.
Well, that's a good thing.
Right.
That's a good thing.
And you get Devontae Smith, who I think is a really good player. So Howie might come out smelling like a rose on that one for once in his life.
Yeah, now they have to pick a good player.
Yeah, well, at least we're in position.
Yes, you are.
We'll worry about that part later and just hope and pray.
It's kind of like Gettleman, he gets all these first round picks, second round picks. Start picking some good players, Dave, before we give you the Ken Harris because you haven't so far.
You like Tampa laying 10? Tampa's way better than Miami.
Yeah, I think so. Miami may not score. I mean,
they might get a couple of points because Tampa Bay's secondary is not great.
I know, but their front four is really good. Miami's had a lot of trouble moving the ball, especially now without Tua around. They're in trouble now.
Sunday, 1:00, Eagles travel to Charlotte. Eagles getting 4 points. I like the Eagles here, getting 4.
Yeah, I take the 4 points.
Tennessee traveling to Jacksonville. Tennessee, 4-point road favorites.
Oh, I think Tennessee comes back with.
You got to respond there, right?
Yeah. You can't lose 2 in a row to the Jets in Jacksonville, can you? I mean,
I hope not.
Boy, they lose to it. Listen, if you lose to the Jets and Jacksonville in a row, okay, that coach is going to be clearly on the hot seat.
Vrabel, he'll be in trouble.
Yeah. I think the Titans are going to come back and really beat Jacksonville
up. New England traveling to Houston. Houston, a dreadful performance against a really good Bills team, to be fair. But, I mean, Davis Mills, what did he have, 87 yards passing and 4 interceptions in a whole game?
Yeah.
Dreadful. Bill Belichick's going to have his lunch.
40-0? I mean, come on. That's not even – I mean, not only is that not competitive, that's pathetic. I mean, Houston's going to go 1-16. I don't think they're going to win another game.
Well, they're 9.5-point home underdogs to the New England Patriots. That should tell you everything you need to know about what Vegas thinks of Houston. Terrible. They're going to get killed. Belichick is going to twist Davis Mills up like a pretzel.
Yeah, and you know what? And Mac Jones, in my opinion, looks pretty good. I think he's getting better every game.
Detroit traveling to Minnesota. Detroit's getting 7.5. They're traveling to Minnesota, but Detroit hasn't been tragic, and I don't think Minnesota's good enough to be given 7.5 points to anybody. I like the Lions here.
I agree with you. I think that the Lions could end up beating them. The Lions have actually have every game. They've lost every game, but you know what? They've been damn competitive every game. They're
trying their best. They're just not good.
Right, but Minnesota, for whatever reason, they're just not good this year.
The Denver Broncos, after a loss, they're traveling to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, a mere 1.5-point home favorite. I really like the Broncos here. I think the Broncos are good. I just think they're not as good as the Ravens. Good point. I forgot about that for a second, but I don't think the Steelers are good at all. They haven't shown me anything.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I think Big Ben is finally had it.
I think no matter who the quarterback is, Denver is still going to be tough and physical, especially on defense. And I don't think the Steelers can hang. I really like the Broncos in this spot.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, listen, the Ravens, and I thought the Ravens were going to be really good this year, and even with all the injuries, and their defense has been tremendous. Pittsburgh's defense is not nearly as good as the Ravens' defense, and Pittsburgh can't score, and Denver's defense is awfully good. So, yeah, I would have to go with Denver.
The Saints visit the Washington football team. The Washington football team is a 2-point home underdog to the Saints.
What?
That seems weird, right?
They're a 2-point underdog?
So it's Washington. It's Washington +2 at home.
The Saints aren't that good.
I agree with you. That's why it's probably like I understand Washington has some issues, especially on defense for whatever reason.
Yeah, and the
Saints aren't good enough to be favored on the road.
No, they're not. And listen, I'm just not. I mean, look, they beat the Packers. They slaughtered the Packers, and you know what? But they lost to the Giants. They got slaughtered by the Panthers, and then they had the other game. They won the other game. I don't remember who was against, but they're a 500 team. They shouldn't be. And so is the Washington football team. Now I'm going to go with the Washington football team and take the points. The Saints have to prove it to me.
Giants heading down the Big D. Giants heading down the Big D. I'll take the 7 here. I think the Giants are getting the Cowboys off a really good spot. Cowboys have looked spectacular. There's no doubt about that. They're clearly the favorites in the East. But, they crushed the Eagles. The Panthers made it interesting late, but that game was a blowout. Let's be real about it. So, I mean, coming off 2 straight blowouts, division rival, I think the Giants show up.
Oh, I don't doubt that they'll show up. I just don't know if it's going to – oh, boy. It's going to be –
You're getting 7.
All right, I'll take the 7.
Don't let me –
I'll take the 7. I don't think the Giants are winning this game, though.
You got the Niners and the Cardinals. Cardinals favored by 5.5. I am not impressed with the San Francisco 49ers one bit. It looks like the Trey Lance era might be getting going here. With Jimmy Garoppolo hurt on Sunday, I will gladly lay the 5.5 points with the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Arizona Cardinals are the best team in football, Brad.
They're good.
They're undefeated. They took
apart the Rams, and the Rams. I thought the Rams were the best team in the league this year, starting the beginning of the season. But damn, they look good right now.
Kyler Murray's playing awesome. Their receivers are awesome. They're getting a great balance. Their defense is disruptive. They took apart Tennessee. They took apart the Rams, 2 teams that many feel are going to be playing in January in the postseason. I don't recall who their other 2 wins were against, but, I mean, they are cooking right now, and I don't think the Niners are anything. So I'll gladly lay the 5.5. Primetime games, Buffalo Bills traveling to Arrowhead. Chiefs, a 2.5 point favorite.
2.5 points, huh?
I really like the Chiefs here.
Yeah.
Buffalo's got to prove it to me. Buffalo kind of has this reputation right now, I feel like, of flexing really, really hard and blowing out teams like the Texans, who they're better than 40-0. But then when a team that's kind of on their level, like the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1, come into their yard, they hit them in the mouth, and they get punked out. That's kind of how it's gone in the Josh Allen era. So they need a signature win. And I think the Chiefs are really good. That
would be a signature win. But, the Chiefs lost to the Ravens, so why not Buffalo?
It's another reason why I like the Chiefs. I think Andy's going to have them ready to go. That's just my opinion. Buffalo's playing really well, so maybe. Monday night game, we'll be live reacting.
Listen, I think the Chiefs are going to win, and if it's not if the line stays under 3, I'd have to take the Chiefs.
Monday night, we'll have it for you next Monday night, right here on the Sports Hounds. The Indianapolis Colts, Carson Wentz, traveled to Baltimore. Baltimore is laying 7 points. Brad, I'll take the 7 points here as well. I think despite the 0-3 start with Carson Wentz, I think when we look down at the AFC South standings at the end of 17 games, and you look at Carson Wentz's stats at the end of 17 games, I think they're going to be – both numbers are going to be above average, and I think the Colts are going to win this AFC South. I don't know if they beat Baltimore, but I think that their defense can keep them in it. 7's a lot.
My whole issue with this game is that I just feel like Carson Wentz against the Ravens defense, it could end up getting injured. That would be my biggest fear if I'm an Eagle fan wanting that first round pick from the Colts, because the Ravens pass rush. If you saw the game yesterday against Denver, and I did watch some of that game, believe it or not, when Tampa was batting.
I was more locked into the Packers versus Steelers game.
Yeah, no, I was watching that. I was watching the Yankees when they were up, and then when Tampa Bay was up, I couldn't even watch. I was so nervous, so I put the Raven game on, and the Ravens defense just looked terrific yesterday against them, and they really nailed Bridgewater, and I mean he couldn't play. He couldn't start the second half. He had a concussion, and the Ravens defense. The Ravens are just a very, very physical team this year. I don't know if the Colts are going to be able to keep them away from Wentz. I would really be if they do. If they're going to play against this team, they need to play quick and fast. Okay, don't let Wentz sit back there too long looking around against this defense because they're fierce.
All right, so it sounds like you're laying.
I am laying the points. I like
you're laying the points. Okay. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Sports Hounds. Thank you for everyone who liked, followed, subscribed to the show. Turn those notifications on. Don't miss anything here on A2D Radio. Thank you to our great sponsors, Alan Foy, eXp Realty, FanUp, Manscaped, Body Check Wellness, Specialized Physical Therapy, all campus down there on the boardwalk in Ocean City. Johnny Coyle, he does a lot for us here at A2D. We love him to death. Until next Monday, he's Brad Ryer. I'm Rob Brinkman. Peace out. Flight Zone coming up next.